And welcome back to Atreyu News. It is now Thursday morning, May the 11th. Look who could be a dark horse to replace Comey. From Daily Caller, President Donald Trump's decision to dismiss former FBI Director James Comey has precipitated a small cataclysm in the nation's capital, as commenters speculate that Trump has dealt a death blow to his administration's integrity. On the contrary, I'm quite pleased with what he's done. Whether the public shares their assessment is still an open question, but Trump could strike a blow for competence and trust by installing a seasoned prosecutor widely admired by his political opposition. Judge Merrick Garland, former President Barack Obama's last nominee to the Supreme Court. The White House has been silent with respect to possible successors. Names like Michael Chertoff and Ray Kelly have circulated widely in the hours after Comey's dismissal. The strength of his resume alone could make Garland a serious candidate. The judge is a veteran of the highest levels of the Department of Justice, where he executed and supervised sensitive investigations and prosecutions of the sort America can expect in the coming years. I say everyone he appoints, make him as conservative as possible, mainly on the fact that we have seen time and time again that if you give the Democrats an inch, they'll never be happy with it, because it's Trump. Trump could hand them the world on a silver platter and they would hate him for it, so screw him. Double down, conservatives from end to end. That's what we see with all the governorships, and many of the appointees already across the country are going conservative. Tommy's thoughts on liberals freaking out over Comey. I was wondering what had happened to her. From Tommy Lauren, the leftist and mainstream media reaction to Comey's firing is just another episode in the pathetic and bitter attempt to torpedo Donald J. Trump. Hashtag Team Tommy. Well, we've seen it, haven't we? That all the Democrats came out, including Bernie Sanders. They all came out and said that Comey should quit, basically, after Hillary Clinton investigation, after the first time and the second time, and then afterwards, and then months afterwards. They all said he should quit or get fired, be removed. So Trump does that very thing and they attack him for it. See, we can't ever give them an inch, because it'll never be good enough. Let's take a listen.
Hi, I'm Tomi, and it's time for Final Thoughts. So let's talk about the Comey firing. I'm going to make this short and sweet, so here it is. Whether you agree or disagree with the president's decision is beside the point. What's really interesting here is the way the Democrats / alt-left radical psychos are reacting. And as you could imagine, the double standard party is freaking out over this. First of all, what don't they freak out about at this point? I mean, really. But seriously, it's amazing how many of these same folks now accusing President Trump of hiding something didn't seem to find it sketchy that Hillary had a private server in her basement, and deleted 33,000 emails. Selective concern, eh? And this whole Comey left-wing reaction thing is really ironic and pretty special, considering the Democrats, with Queen Hillary at the helm, have been blaming Comey for their loss for the last 6 months. In fact, Chuck Schumer publicly stated he lost confidence in Comey. Add that to Dirty Harry Reid and the Democratic Representative Steve Cohen. They've been asking for Comey's head on a spike for months, but now his firing is Nixon-esque? Give me a break! You know damn well one of Hillary's first actions as president would have been to get rid of Comey, and the leftists would have been in celebration! This isn't about Russian ties or concern for the country. This is another episode in the leftist pathetic and bitter attempt to torpedo President Trump. It's all white noise at this point, and it's a shame the mainstream media is in on it. It really is. They've done nothing but harass and nitpick President Trump since day one. And at this point, we can't trust them to hold our president accountable when they can't even hold themselves accountable for their bias and left-leaning bullshit disguised as news. Shame on you. Perhaps care about the country more and your angry leftist bitterness less. Maybe then you could actually contribute something to this country more meaningful than, I don't know, marches and anti-Trump resistance tantrums. But those are just my final thoughts. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tomi Lahren from Dallas. God bless, and take care.
Wow. Still dropping the hammer. I certainly like the idea of conservative women coming to the surface and speaking out. But I'm a bit concerned because a lot of women are coming out and fighting the war that men should be fighting. There's nothing against women fighting it too. It's just, I, you know, it's difficult to watch a woman fighting a man's war. The View tried to delegitimize the election, but Condoleezza drops the MOAB instead, the mother of all bombs. Sonny Hostin attempted to pin the blame on Hillary's loss to Putin. Oh God. But Condoleezza Rice immediately rebuked this claim. Miss Rice tells the TV View she believed the American people decided to vote for Trump on their own. Well, like, it is a bit shocking they're still trying to run this Russia thing with no evidence whatsoever. It's as if the people will finally believe it if you tell it to them for a decade, I suppose. It's not going to work, though. Not this time.
What you can't do is be intimidated by Putin or let him play these psychological games.
But Madam Secretary, if he indeed did engage in these types of tactics in our election, then the very legitimacy of our election is at issue, isn't it?
No, and that's where I would. First of all, I don't want to question his motives beyond he's an eye for an eye kind of person. Secondly, I trust the people who voted in Wisconsin and Texas and Alabama and California to have voted on the basis of who they thought was best going to represent their interest. And so I'm not going to question the legitimacy of their vote because Vladimir Putin tried to interfere in the elections. That's just a step that I don't think we should take. Let's trust our fellow citizens to have been smart enough to vote for the people that they thought they ought to be voting for.
Well said. Very well said.